Hey guys, Ryan here for Bender Wins. Hope everyone's doing well today. Here with your daily free picks. Alright, so I have 5 picks for you guys today. Now, before I jump into today's picks, I do have a couple things that I just want to cover. One of them is sports betting related, one of them is not. So I'm going to deviate from our normal narrative and just discuss something here. So I'm Canadian. I'm born and raised Canadian, but I spend a lot of time in Vegas. So I do consider the US to be my second home. Whenever I've gone to Vegas, or even I spend a bit of time in Florida, your country is so incredibly hospitable to me. And I really do appreciate that. So I kind of do look at the States as my second home. Now, I know a number of you guys have messaged me, and I talked about this in a previous video. Some of you guys, I talked about it in the comment section. I didn't talk about it in the previous video, but we got a thread going in the comment section. And I talked about the fact that I know some of you guys bet on the US politics, bet on the outcome of the US politics. And basically what I said was that, I thought on paper, Bernie Sanders looked like a great pick, but I figured there would be some way that the Democrats found a way to not let him win. I mean, there's a lot riding on the line for billionaires, which ultimately have a lot of say in the day-to-day politics of the United States, right? So, we have this really, really crazy, wonky system in Canada. I'll tell you guys how it works. When people vote, we just take the popular vote, and that's who wins. It's crazy. I know it's mind-boggling to think that a country would do that, but if we have 30 million people vote and 20 million people vote that way and 10 million people vote that way, we just go with the 20 million. I know it's crazy. We don't have any electoral colleges or anything like that. But again, guys, I mean, I think that betting on politics is tough. It's tough because the polls don't accurately reflect obviously the end outcome, which tonight was a really good example of that. And it's not completely over. There's no Democratic nominee yet, but there is a lot of room for corruption. And I spent a bit of time today, just out of pure interest. I spent a bit of time today, and I was looking at rally turnouts and stuff. And I was looking at really, really kind of small pockets, areas where Bernie Sanders had rally turnouts of 30, 40,000 people. Whereas Joe Biden had rally turnouts of 2,500 people, and Joe Biden won that area. So I'm not saying that it's necessarily fixed or corrupt, but maybe it's fixed or corrupt. So anyways, guys, I swore when I started this channel I would never get into politics because there's no better way to start an argument, and I'm sure we're gonna get something in the comment section there. But anyways, guys, that's just my 2 cents on it. Is that it's very tough to bet on U.S. politics, and just to bet on politics in general, because you ultimately don't know. And I know, I've seen it on the chat groups, on Facebook and everything. People have put in bets on, on the primaries already, on the U.S. election, and you ultimately just don't know. So. Anyways, that's enough about that, guys. I did want to discuss one more thing before I get into the picks, and I hope you guys watch this. I know it's obviously possible that you can just fast forward through all this and just get straight to the picks. But at the end of the day, if you guys have been here in the beginning, you knew that this channel is about education. It's about learning how to sports bet and improving yourself ultimately. And if you're just fast forwarding to to the picks at the end, you're selling yourself short, and you're not giving yourself that ability to develop the skills. Now, all the stuff I've learned over many, many years of trial and error. I learned everything the hard way. I didn't have a mentor. I didn't have YouTube. I didn't have any of that when I started. So it was difficult for me to, trying to develop and get to the point where I am now. So I think really you guys should be watching the video. But again, if you're just here for the picks, fast forward. They'll be, a few minutes from now, and you'll get your picks. So the next thing I want to talk about, guys, and I have touched on it a little bit before, but it is really, really important. So I want to touch on it again. As you make your progression through your sports betting career, it's very important that you're keeping very detailed records. And part of that is keeping records on how often you're beating the closing line. And that is very, very important. That's like, they don't really teach that, guys, but among professionals, we talk about that a lot, like a lot. And you don't read it anywhere, you don't see anywhere, but we talk about, we say, yeah, I lost, but I beat the closing line on that. I mean, that comes up in conversation an awful lot. You don't hear it among like rookie or amateur sports bettors. So beating the closing line is where you're ultimately going to find value. And what I mean by beating the closing line is if a line opens up at, your team is at +2. So you bet them at +2. Now, if that line goes up to +3, you've lost value on that. So that, in terms of beating the closing line, would be a loss. Now, if you get them at +2 and at game time it goes to, -1, or sorry, +1 or pick 'em or even -1, then you've found extra value. And that's very important, guys. So if you're looking at improving and you're looking at finding more value, and ultimately putting more money in your pocket, it's very important that you do look at how often you beat the closing line versus how many times you've lost to the closing line. All right, so just as a project, guys, for the month of March, or hopefully you guys do it forever, but for the month of March, for your picks, guys, look how often you're beating the closing line. So make sure that you go back and you check. And as I told you guys, I always go back and I go over all my games, but go back and check and see how often you beat the closing line versus how many times the closing line has beat you. And it's a good indicator of whether you're finding value or you're giving up value. And it's ultimately going to teach you guys when the good times to bet are. Okay, so that's it, guys. Without further ado, we're going to get into today's picks. All right, guys, so I mentioned I have 5 picks for you guys today. I do apologize. I swore I said I would never get into politics when I did this. And, a little bit of a long-winded intro today, but whatever. C'est la vie. So that's French, by the way. Second language here in Canada. All right, guys, so 5 picks for today, guys. I have 3 super system picks, a couple other picks. All the picks today are in college basketball. I'm going to start off, guys. We have LSU and Arkansas. So LSU, Arkansas. Now, the line opened up in this game for a total at 156. Now, at 156, it was going to be a 2-unit play. The line has dropped a fair amount. Obviously, there's been some sharp money on this to bring the line down. Dropped the line a significant amount down to 153.5. But we still like the under in this game. So this was going to be our 2-unit play of the day. The line did get away from us a little bit, unfortunately. So, but we are still going to take the under in this game, guys. We're going to take under 153.5 for 1 unit. So under 153.5 for LSU and Arkansas. All right. So next game, guys, we have Pittsburgh and Georgia Tech. So Pittsburgh, Georgia Tech. Same thing, guys. This is going to be one of our super system plays, and we're going to go under 130. So under 130 in this game. Third game, guys, we have San Jose State and New Mexico. So San Jose State, New Mexico. I'm going to give you guys a heads up. So this is a super system play. Completely optional. Obviously, all my plays are optional, whether you play them or you don't. I know some of you guys you play them all. Some of you guys, take the ones you like and discard the ones you don't. And I'm totally fine with that. It's ultimately up to you guys how you want to play this and how you want to make it work. But I will tell you, for San Jose State and New Mexico, there is a steam play on the over at 156. So there is a steam play at 156 in the over. However, I do like the under in this game. So it's ultimately up to you guys if this is a game that you want to lay off, if you want to bet maybe just a half unit, or if you want to go with me. I'm betting this for me as a full unit on the under because I do like the under in this game, guys. So we, for a pick, are going to go under 156, but like full disclosure, I do want to let you guys know that there is a steam play on the over in this game. But my pick is going to be San Jose State, New Mexico to go under 156. All right. Fourth game, we have Missouri and Mississippi. So Missouri, Mississippi. Now early on, Missouri is getting 23% of the bets, 43% of money. So very strong money. It's a nice spread, about, it's a 20-point difference between bets and money. So we like that. It's still contrarian. Contrarian meaning we're getting less than 50%. So we're betting with Vegas and not the public. So if Missouri in this case wins the game, Vegas is going to win money, and we like being on that side. Now as well, there's a really nice system indicator I've talked about in previous videos called fading the public in big conference games. So in this game, guys, we're going to take Missouri plus 5 points. All right, so Missouri plus 5 in that game. And finally, last game, we have Minnesota and Indiana. So Minnesota, Indiana. The money distribution in this game is very contrarian. I mean, very contrarian. And it's not ideal in terms of normal spread we look for, but we do have, I like the matchup, first off, to be honest with you. I like the matchup. We've got an extra half point because the line has moved a little bit. But we do have two system indicators. Their system indicators have come in at 58 and 59% over really high volume. So in this game, guys, we're going to be taking Minnesota at plus 4. All right, so Minnesota plus 4. So that's it for today, guys. 5 plays. I apologize for droning on about politics. And anyways, guys, I hope I hope you do listen to my earlier advice in terms of keeping good records overall, but also you want to keep good records on how often you're beating that closing line, because it really is important, guys. If you're beating the closing line, you're getting value. You're finding value. If you're not beating that closing line, then you really have to address, the times at which you're betting the games, and just look at your strategy in general, because you're giving up value. You're giving up money. You're giving up money on the money line. You're giving up free points, and you guys know as well as I do, how many games you might win or lose by half a point. And if the line's moving 1 point here or there, it's great to get that extra value. All right, so that's it for today, guys. Really appreciate it. And as always, have a very lucky day.